couldn't sleep, so I decided to write a little bit. Today was really talking about the fans. There's a lot of interesting feelings I have about the fans. You know, I'm a fan. I've been a fan since '77, and I think thinking about fans like they're these, obese, pimply, angry trolls who've never kissed a girl before, I think is a mistake. The Star Wars fans are all of us. In '99, it was tough for me because I feel like the echo chamber of the fan base was very harsh towards me. But there was no Twitter, there was no Facebook, there was MySpace, but nobody was complaining about anything on MySpace. Everybody was trying to get on the top eight. I felt like there was more of a popular media and normal and traditional media backlash than there was a fan backlash, even though the fan backlash was still huge. So I was talking about the Phantom Edit and why the Phantom Edit made me feel two ways. One, it was just insanely disrespectful to the people who put their time and their energy into the movie. I mean, people were working for months, years on making Jar Jar work. And, they took time away from their families to do it. And for some guy to come along and just take all of that out is just really insulting and disrespectful to the work. However, it was also incredibly innovative. And as much as I was personally damaged by the Phantom Edit, somebody took their time and their money and their equipment and re-edited an entire movie. Now I know it was based on their point of view, but you have to care a lot to do something like that. Editing is not easy, and editing takes a minute. So you really have to care a lot to do something about that, which means that the person who did it really cared. And that was a testament to the fan base. The fan base really cares, right? By the same token, me being a fan and me being in it, I really cared. So it goes both ways. I don't like the Phantom Edit, but I think what's interesting is the fact that there is this fan base that I don't think is being respected as much as it could be respected. I think, Star Wars has this incredible resource in the fan base. And I don't think it's used enough. I don't think it's paid attention to enough. I think what happens is when it gets loud enough and mean enough, people start talking about it. But on the flip side, no one talks about the kindness, the devotion, and the intelligence of the Star Wars fans. There's a lot of Star Wars material out there. There's books, there's comic books, there's movies, of course. There have been cartoons. There was a Christmas special. The fans watched all of it. So they know things that a lot of times people don't know. The same fan devotion that did the Phantom edit is the same fan devotion that came up with Darth Jar Jar. So much so that I get asked all the time, is Jar Jar a Sith Lord? I can't say yes or no, right? It's really a George Lucas question. You got to ask George. But I think what's interesting is that fan devotion saw through a lot of the things that a lot of people didn't see. There was a lot about my performance as Jar Jar that I put in there that unless you knew something about things, you wouldn't get, right? Drunken Style Shaolin Kung Fu is a big deal. I did a lot of it as Jar Jar. And the Darth Jar Jar theory caught it. Caught it. I never thought anybody would see that. You know, I never thought anybody would be influenced by that. But I loved Jackie Chan, and I was a huge Jackie Chan fan. And everybody who knows me knows that Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan were my guys growing up. And I watched Drunken Master and Drunken Master 2 thousands of times, right? So, of course, a lot of my physicality comes from me watching Jackie Chan movies. And there was a lot of it that was Drunken Style Kung Fu. Now, for somebody to take the time to look at that and write something, you have to care. You have to care a lot. So I don't hate fans. At the time, it was hard dealing with the fans because I had to, every time somebody talked about me and Star Wars, I answered the same question thousands of times. Yeah. The Phantom edit influenced me to do a sci-fi show in 2008 called The Nebula. And one of the things that I wanted to do if the show was ever bought, and it was never bought, one of the things I wanted to do was release scenes, raw scenes with green screen to the internet. I wanted to do this in 2008 and see what I got back. Years later, Jean-Claude Van Damme did it, and it went viral. The whole, him doing kung fu moves in front of a green screen, and then the world did it. I don't know. At the end of the day, the fan stuff, yeah, the bad stuff can hurt. But there's good stuff. They're really, really loyal, generous, kind, super smart Star Wars fans out there. And I see them. I don't want to put this out there as a rebuke to the fans, because I'm a fan. I've always been a fan. I think one of the reasons why I took the Phantom edit so personally was because I'm a fan. Like I say this all the time, man. I never in my wildest dreams ever thought I was going to be in Star Wars. I didn't plan this. I didn't go to school going, oh, I'm going to just get this music degree, be in Stomp, and then I'll be in Star Wars. I didn't know anything about, look, the audition came to me. I didn't go out seeking it. I didn't pitch myself to George like Michael Jackson did, and that made meeting Michael Jackson so incredibly awkward. And I love Michael Jackson, I want to be able to see past me. You know what I mean? I want to be able to be introspective at this time and try to find the um, the lesson in things, you know, to learn something. I want to learn something every day. I'm doing this whole thing, I think, because there's something more. There's something else. I'm trying to learn about myself as much as I'm trying to learn about what happened. The fans are going to be the character in this show. I want to be able to do this thing and interact with an audience and be with an audience. And I want this to be an exercise, and I don't want this to be just cathartic. I don't want it to be just therapy. I want it to be something that includes the audience. I want it to be something that talks about the audience and the audience can talk. I don't want this to be something that adds to my love of this, you know, mythology, this thing that I grew up with, that I had the fortune to be a part of. As much as there was pain that I had to deal with the fandom, there was innovation, there was care, there was loyalty, there was compassion, there was intelligence, there was ignorance, there was anger, there was racism. There was all of that. But you can't talk about the ignorance and racism without talking about the care and compassion. You can't talk about the um, disrespect and not talk about the innovation and loyalty. I think you have to talk about it all. Yeah. I don't know how I'm gonna put this all in a 1 hour show. Right now I have 10,000 words, and I don't know if that's enough or too little. I'm just gonna keep going until I can't go no more. All right. I'm done rambling.